Okay, I'm going to put this hitbox together. It's got 3D printed shell, 3D printed buttons. It's just taped together because I don't have the screws yet. But the buttons are mechanical keyboard switches in a shell. You just take the switch and push it into the center of the shell. It'll click in. Screw on the ring to hold it onto the hitbox, or into the shell. I can get it on there. Yeah, there we go. It'll hold it into the case. You just push the button in. And this is a 30mm button for the thumb. And the smaller ones are 24mm. It's the same exact thing. You just push them in, put the cap on, and then they screw right into the back of the case. And the actual board for it, instead of going with like a bricks board, because they're way more expensive, I bought a 3-pack of knockoff Waveshare RP 2040 zeros on Amazon for $10 maybe. You could go with the Raspberry Pi Pico, but I'm going with this one because it's USB-C, and I don't feel like messing with micro USB to plug this in. So the fun part will be the soldering all the wires in, but I'll get to that here in just a second. Before we start the soldering, we have to load the firmware onto the board, which is super easy. You go to the GP2040CE website and go over here to either download button here or here. It doesn't matter. Takes you to the same place. Just scroll down. Find your board of choice, whichever you're using, the Pico or the Waveshare. Hit the download button. Go to wherever you got it. And then on your board, you hold down the boot button and plug it in. It'll pop up. You just grab that file you downloaded and drop it right in there. It'll move it over, and then that window should close, and it's ready to go. Before we start wiring this up, we have to we have to pull up the pinout for the board so we can wire everything correctly. And it is right here next to that download button we hit a minute ago. It's the pinout, and then it'll open a window like this. And it's got, it'll show each pin which button it corresponds to, or will correspond to on your controller. And then I think this board only has the one ground pin, so we'll have to daisy chain all the ground to this one pin off of each button. So shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to time lapse the actual soldering part. It would take an eternity, so I'm not gonna put that in here and make people sit through that. So we'll time lapse that up right there. now that I've got the ground wire in, it's just wiring it up to the board. You connect this to the ground, then I'll connect each individual wire to each individual button, and then we'll be done. Okay, before I start soldering, I've stripped all these wires back just a little bit so I can solder them in here. This is 22 gauge solid core wire. Probably be a better idea to use braided wire, also 22 gauge, but I think braided wire would be more flexible, a little easier to work with. This is just whatever I had, so it's pretty rigid, but I'll just bend it to whatever shape I need. It's not a big deal. I'm not going for anything professional here, so it'll be alright. I'm going to use a yellow wire for start and select just so I keep it separated from the other buttons, but should be able to wire it up just fine. Now I just need to wire all of the buttons to the corresponding wires here, and then I'll close it up and plug it in and see if it works. Now, as you can see, I've got it plugged in. I've opened Gamepad Tester. I don't have the screws for this, so I'm just holding it together with packing tape for the moment. And I don't have... I think this model, the case was made for it's like a USB-B receptacle. I don't feel like using USB, so I'm just going to leave the hole open. It's USB-C cable going through. But as you can see, on our Gamepad Tester, everything is working. Even the start and select on the back both work. Oh, I opened my Steam. But yeah, as you can see, it's all working. And if you want to print this yourself and build this yourself, I will leave a link in the description to everything I use. The model for the case, the models for the buttons. I guess I can leave the specific key switches I used, but it doesn't really matter what key switches you use. I can leave a link to the wire. I can leave a link to the board and everything. But yeah, thanks for watching. And if you decide to build this yourself, have fun. It was a fun project.